All right, so jumping into Facebook and their new digital wallet, possibly a stablecoin being under the hood, and what that might mean for both the crypto market and maybe digital currencies overall. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Facebook, the big blue boy in Silicon Valley, has been at work for a while after their failed attempt to take Libra into the public domain. They've decided to take a different route in how they're going to approach both the digital currency space, the wallet side, all those kind of things. There's a lineup of things that this will do in the space from a transaction standpoint, and also for you, maybe as a business owner or maybe you as a consumer, and what this might mean to you. I want to jump to this first story on Yahoo Finance. Quick story here. Executive David Marcus, who's basically the lead guy for Novi, announced the impending launch and, of course, the digital wallet to tap into the unbanked consumers. Remember, Facebook's massive opportunity here in terms of being able to deal with the masses on both how many people are utilizing, and I think, remember, last counted, it was over 1 billion now, where we were seeing Facebook's numbers. But look at the list of things that this is going to be able to do. Integrate digital currency wallet into the apps, so that's a big win. Company also aims to offer domestic and international payments free of cost. This is going to be huge for international transactions, but also for a lot of the emerging countries where Facebook strategically has been trying to become your bank, especially in these countries where we have these emerging markets on the mobile system. And I think this might be something that is moving in this direction. He also defended stablecoins and their wallets, citing more efficient detection of illegal activities than the traditional financial system. This is something I've talked about here on the channel for a long time, is that stablecoins and cryptocurrency in general are going to essentially take away fiat dollars, which have been one of, if not the largest place for money laundering, black market, gray market. All of that's been happening with fiat. And cryptocurrency essentially is going to eliminate that. And that may be a good thing or maybe a bad thing, because even though it is somewhat private, in the sense it doesn't know that it's John Smith doing that transaction, it knows your wallet number, and eventually if you ever make those public, then obviously it knows who you are. So I don't know that this is going to be a fantastic thing for people who are privacy advocates, because this is just going to continue to strengthen Facebook's position in terms of understanding more and more about you. And of course, the number one game they're in is advertising to you. So we'll see how that all plugs in. But of course, he is talking about it. When I say he, meaning Marcus, their CEO or the founder of Novi, that is kind of talking in this direction. He's looking at this as being a potential bit of a rub with both the U.S. government, but also taxing authorities and also international aspects about this. This is going to be a big deal. The other thing that I think when you look at Facebook in general, because they're such a global company and they have such a presence in so many, all countries around the world, and their ability to be able to really become kind of that Internet of Things, or the Internet as we know it. It reminds me a lot of the AOL walled gardens back in the mid-90s. Essentially, that was the Internet for a lot of people who were coming onto the Internet for the first time. And you have to think about these countries that are emerging, especially if a digital wallet and cryptocurrency starts to move into the platform like Facebook, which makes it just so easy for people to use. So he also added here that he is going after their full digital currency plans, which I think tells me that they've got a lot more in play around where this is going. So I think this is a very interesting element. I also want to jump to this one right here, this market report, just to kind of confirm here. The stablecoin wallet is nearing its release, so it's fairly close on how this is going to go to market. The pronouncement came at the end of the blog post release, initial announcement in 2019, which said basically Facebook is creating a digital currency that's going to be backed by fiat, which is going to be another big advantage. And I think this also might be one of those things that could start to play into some sort of connection with the federal government, meaning the U.S. federal government. Here's the potential track here. If you really think about this, the amount of data that Facebook has on U.S. consumers, absolutely, I think, unrivaled in terms of privacy, access, use, screen time, you name it, and the amount of information they can drive to our mobile devices. And I know that Apple is trying to kind of resolve that. There's a little bit of a tug of war between the two companies in terms of privacy and the app scenario that's going to eventually roll out in there. This is now, I think, in a new place because Facebook obviously has now beat Apple to the punch. We just reported on Samsung and basically Samsung Pay and what they're doing in Asia, in a lot of the Korean markets, of where that might be going with their CBDC. That is a big deal. All of these kind of payment architectures that are being built, I'm just still curious why Apple has not jumped into the fray to do something like what Facebook is doing, which is basically a digital wallet and a cryptocurrency or a digital asset of some sort that they can start trading on. You look at all that, you look at the capacity of where Facebook is plugged into the US government. Most likely we've got some, I'll say, cooperation and the ability to be able to move now into international markets. This gets really interesting because this is going to become a cross-global function of Facebook, could become one of Facebook's #1 elements, even over advertising, being able to bank the unbanked worldwide and be able to track those that are spending and or utilizing digital and or cryptocurrencies within their platform, whether it's Novi or on their crypto wallets themselves. So there's a lot that could be rolling in this direction. The other thing that's going to really play into this is, when does this come available? Is it going to be available on an exchange? How are they going to issue it? Is it going to roll out with traditional tokenomics, or are they just going to make this a wallet and some sort of digital trade value that they're working much like a native token that you might see on an exchange? There's so much here to unpack of how it's going to work. We'll be seeing more and more news coming out on this space. And I just want to jump to a couple things here on the chart, which is basically here we go, Trading View. Just a quick chart review of Facebook. Currently sentiment 49.98. We did a score right here on July 13th. This was a rundown where we saw this basically go down to 336 a share. Amplification was 51.22, which is fairly moderate, but it did kind of predict this little move right here, which took us back up around 370 a share. And then this activity right here, which was on July 28th through August 3rd, sentiment 53.91, up a little bit, and also amplification decent on Facebook, but sideways action right here, and does not appear that this announcement is having any movement on the stock. This is the yellow bubble right here, which is the announcement for the digital wallet. And I think it will take time for this to actually go into the market and us to see some real results, both on an international layer and also on a functional aspect of what it's going to be able to do. If they can go into payments, especially if you think about PayPal and why that might be a potential where this wallet could roll out in comparison to a PayPal, and be able to pay through like an OAuth when you're plugged in to accounts or you're logged in via your Facebook account and now your wallet is attached to that. This could work in a lot of places and a lot of different platforms, including other social media platforms as well. So, man, there is so much happening in the space of cryptocurrency, digital assets, and technology innovation. Right now, we are in a golden era of what will be the way our society moves and transacts on a monetary system really over the next 100 years. Literally, this is the gold rush. It's being built right now in front of our very eyes. It's like San Francisco in the 1900s. This is the era of where monetary systems are being changed and where the world's reserve currency may be going. Could it be something like this from the most powerful and the most, I would say, the most penetrated business model on the planet, and that is Facebook? We're going to get a chance to see it really up close and personal. More on this later. If you're listening over on the podcast, make sure and, of course, give us some stars. Kudos over there. If you're here on YouTube, the best thing you can do is subscribe. We drop a lot of videos each month, really trying to jump with the news stream, but we also go into token analysis. We do a lot in terms of predictions. And this is based, again, not on financial advice, but it is based on a lot of data that we've been hauling for quite some time. Actually, we've had about a decade of work in this space around other industries, and we've been able to kind of point our our trajectory and a lot of our focus of how digital and data is collected and then apply it to the cryptocurrency space. And it's really paying off, I think, with how we're moving some of the metrics in terms of our predictions. So make sure and stay tuned right here for things like that. If you want to reach me, hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.